2, 1. I can't hear that. Will they hear that?
The audio wasn't going through.
Mm-mm.
God damn it. Damn it. We should have rehearsed this, bro. Fuck.
Fuck rehearsals. Fuck a rehearsal.
It's not working?
Rehearsals are for fucking amateurs.
You can't hear it, really?
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that they can't. That just might be me that can't hear it.
Oh, well, dude, I don't know how the hell we're going to do this. The screen share thing doesn't... give me just 1 second here. Share screen. Some screens let you share audio. Follow these steps to show a video with audio. We should have done this before we went live, bro.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Here it is. Wait, I think this is how to do it.
Fare thee well to Princess Landing Stage.
Share. Okay. This is how you do it.
This is how we do it.
Look at your face, first of all.
This is what you got when you're on trigonometry.
Tell me if you can hear the audio first.
Shattered it.
Yeah. Shattered it. You shattered it on me face.
Try and get into military intelligence. That was my hope. I was out in Chester, and I got glassed in the eye, and that sort of made me wait a little bit because I had some PTSD from that. It was a homophobic attack. I was headbutted and hit in the eye with a glass for being gay.
Fucking hell.
Now, is he saying, fucking hell, I didn't know you were
He goes, fucking hell.
Okay. What?
So Richie, is there something you need to tell us today?
Fucking hell. I didn't know, like, I didn't know how emotional people would get about that. In the comments, some people were like, I never knew he was gay, and now I feel betrayed. I'm like, why would you care, you fucks? Like, I wasn't delivering psychology advice straightly or gaily. I mean, but no, there's nothing I need to tell people about. I did this interview for Trigonometry, folks, and then Pierre right afterwards like, oh, bro, you sound like you came out the closet, bro. And then Konstantin was messaging me on WhatsApp going, oh, I didn't realize you were gay. I'm like, I'm not gay. Why the fuck did you say you were then? I was like, did I?
You still haven't really clarified. Like,
Yeah.
the funniest part about this is like, you just let it hang and didn't go back to it. You just straight up, like, unmistakably stated you were being gay. Like,
I didn't say I was glassed while doing a gayness. I said I was glassed for being gay. Why were you glassed for being gay?
But you're not. Why would you use those choice of words?
Yes, I was. So I was in a gay club.
Well, that doesn't help. Like that just...
Well, no, that's exactly what the policewoman said. There was a detective inspector who was investigating the case, and she said, just as an aside, how long have you known that you're gay for? And I said to her, I'm not gay. And she went, oh, I'm so sorry, I meant homosexual. I was like, what? We're not mincing words here. I'm neither gay, homosexual, or... She was really sweet. She was really, really nice. So I was just wondering how that, what age did you realize you were gay?
At this point, I'm not even sure myself. So can you please clarify for the people at home? Why would you use those choice of words? And why haven't you backtracked?
Why haven't I backtracked? Well, it's called Spartan Life Coach, and Spartans were all institutionally gay. So this is how I wanted to tell you. No, what I meant was I was in a gay club that we used to go to specifically because we thought we would get less violence, and usually that was true. So there was a Yates's over the road from it. This is in Chester. There was a Yates's, and then on Love Street there's a gay bar called Love's, and we used to go in there because the music was good and there was drinks on offer. And yeah, I was in there heterosexually, but enjoying the gay club. But the guy who glassed me hated gays and particularly wanted to glass me for being gay. And it even was when the police came for him, he was screaming, I glassed him. I'm glad I glassed him. You know, I'd do it again. He's a fucking, you know, that word that you're not supposed to say that means a small chip of wood.
You still haven't really clarified. If anything, you've provided more evidence.
Well, I just think
you have to state he thought you were gay. That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say.
Well, I want to be careful because if I go in public and I'm like, I just want to let you all know I'm absolutely not gay, then that kind of implies that you think there's something wrong with being gay, which I do not. And it's sort of like if you defend it too heavily, then that can look a bit gay as well. Like I'm absolutely not bloody gay.
That's why I'm laughing way more than I should too, because you really painted yourself in a corner with this. Because if you did make not an apology video, but like a clarification video, it's gonna either sound like you're insecure or you think it's bad to be gay. So there's literally like no way around this.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing I can do. I'm in a hetero trap. I'm in a complete hetero trap.
But yeah,
I've caught myself
headbutted.
Just like, dude, just like, I mean, if you just heard this, there's no other way you can take this.
Hit in the eye with a glass for being gay.
Fucking hell.
Konstantin's fucking hell. That's a special toe. Fucking hell. He must have been thinking, wow, you were glassed. That's terrible. But also, fucking hell, he's coming out on trigonometry.
I know. And like, there's so many layers of humor here. And keep in mind, I'm not laughing at you, my friend. I'm laughing at this entire situation. And I'm laughing at you just a tiny bit. Because this was in the first 2 minutes. So the people that don't know who you are and they're first introduced to you, you unmistakably came out of the closet in their eyes. Like, there's no other way to take that.
There's no other way to take it, as we said in the Navy. It was not a good choice of words. And I explained to Konstantin I was quite dissociated, a bit nervous. And so I skipped the part where it was like, mistakenly attacked for being gay, because essentially to the guy who glassed me, he just thought I was gay. And then, the conversation moved on, where if it lingered, I could have explained. The thing is, at the time that happened, I was there with two couples, and a boy and a girl, and we would go out together all the time. But I was single, so I went there on my own. And the lads had gone to the bar, and this had much more to do with the fact that I was educated at private school than anything to do with sexuality, which is I was a silly fucker. We were all silly. So I was with the two girls waiting for the lads to bring us the drinks. And when we were dancing, we were doing this stupid fucking upside down twerk on the dance floor. And so the guy came over to me and he was like, you dance, I'm going to say what he said. It's offensive language. You dance like a fucking faggot, you do, lad. And I went, well, I've had an awful lot of practice. And he went, here after, kudunk, smash.
Well, I'm sorry that happened, but again, this is not helping your case. The more details you're providing here, Richie, it's really pointing the other way.
That's what the policewoman said. She was like, what? And why were you there with your straight friends? And you're the only one dancing with the girls. So you're dancing with the girls. Just you and the girls, yeah? I'm like, yeah, still not gay. So sorry, homosexual. No, neither gay, nor homosexual, nor any other fucking label.
Look,
listen, if Tom Hardy had a go, I probably wouldn't say no. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and fucking lie to you. I'm not going to lie.
Listen, it's already sus enough that we're friends. And we show
that's
ourselves
in the comments,
publicly.
Though, yeah. Look at him and Pierre XO. They're clearly like a bi couple. Like, people have these fecund imaginations. They imagine us in orgies together. Just men, women, goats. Prague. You could do what you want in Prague.
It would have been better as a mystery. But here, it was so clear. Like, if that was legally written down for a case study.
Yes.
Like, that's unmistakable. And then with the details of gay club plus upside down twerking, Pierre XO is your friend. and gay porn capital of Prague. You know, these things add up.
Well, so to a further point, there was video of the glassing, which is why he got convicted. He actually did time for it. But of course, they saw the video what I was doing before.
Why? The security footage got you upside down twerking?
Yes, with the girls. Yes.
All right, at least you were around girls there.
Well, I don't know. It's just more innocent times. We were all posh, like quite posh kids. Where should we go in Chester? Let's not go to Yates's. We'll probably get beaten up by the locals in there. Let's go to Love Street. And that's where we'd go.
Oh, that's
hilarious. I was due for my final test for officer training the very next morning. So I shouldn't really have been out because I had they call it an RCB. So my RCB test was literally the next day. And then if I'd passed it, I would have been straight into Sandhurst. But no, I had to go dancing in a gay club.
Well, congratulations, Richard. It's very brave of you. Dude, I love the situation. Like, people are like, not like there's anything wrong with it. Fully supportive. It doesn't change how I view you, Richie. It's just it's just so funny from all fucking corners, the situation, dude. It's so funny.
I love the fact that was the big takeaway for a ton of people from that interview. We covered the loss of God, how men and women have fallen out with each other. There's no future for humanity. And there were some people who walked away from going, Richie's gay. The world's ending. Blah, 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 blah. Richie's gay, though.
But, dude, you might never get banned from the internet again. You just scored some social points by coming out, dude.
Right, because yes, not only and I was attacked as well, which puts me somewhere on the oppression Olympics, doesn't it? I've been oppressed.
Exactly. You don't just reap straight white man benefits because you have identified as gay in that moment.
Oh yeah, of course.
You can identify
the fact that the rest of my life was lived non-gaily. Don't oppress him. He's changed his mind. That's how he identifies.
Yes, but in that moment, though, you identified. And trigonometry.
Yes, I did.
Dude, sometimes I wash dishes and I think of this moment. It's like, but I totally get it, dude. Like, if I was in that situation, I would be nervous as fuck trying to get all the info I need to say, like, in that 1 hour of time with two dudes staring at you down in this, like, professional studio, bro. I would be skipping words. I was like, dude, because like, I might do some, like, marketing stuff. Might assist, and I'm like stuttering even on the fucking Zoom call because like it's just like, so I get it, but still
it's super intense. It's super intense. There was a couple of people in the comments who got really nasty about it. There's a couple of Karens in there who were like, I'll never listen to him again, he's a liar, blah blah blah. And I'm like, seriously
about the gay thing? Really? Oh, I haven't checked it. I've checked it during
he lied to me. He betrayed me. I'll never ever listen to him again. And I'm like, wow, that's nasty. That's
excuse me, Karen. Don't you know that there's 75 different sexualities? Just because
I could be anywhere on a spectrum.
He could be interested in a lot of other people too, but not you. But not you.
And that's the fucking point.
Yeah. Richie's attracted
doesn't matter
to everyone.
Yeah, literally everyone, cars, animals, hardware, furniture, and still I'd rather fuck a car in the tailpipe than you horrible, mean-spirited old bitch.
That is the most savage thing, dude. If you were into car parts, and you still would jack hit
myself off with a hot car exhaust, then kiss you minger. Your soul is rotten. Go away.
This car doesn't judge me. Oh, Jesus. Dude, I couldn't wait for this discussion about this thing. I literally have been laughing to myself when I just replayed the scene because it's just so clear. Like, you just let it hang, didn't even like backtrack, just went the next hour just talking about some good shit, which we'll get into in a moment. But I really got to let this one marinate. It's so funny, man.
Well, I mean,
bro.
I always think it's interesting to see people's responses to this type of thing because it shouldn't really matter. It shouldn't really be of any major concern. But it is like it places you in a different location, I guess.
You know what I just realized? This is your Jubilee moment.
Right. Yeah.
This is your semi controversial viral moment over something spicy. And you freeze. Oh,
Yeah.
wait, say that again.
I'm back. I might switch to my data. I seem to be weak with the Wi-Fi here.
You're okay for now, but okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me data it up.
Oh God.
I'm in a back room here, hiding
funny.
away in the closet.
Oh Jesus. Oh
Now
jeez.
I've broken the entire stream, Frodo. It's fucked.
And
Fuck,
exit
I just
and
killed
enter,
Pierre.
my friend.
Oh shit. Yeah.
I can still see you. I mean, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Remove this fool. Hey, bro, exit, come back in. There it is. Okay, now he left. Bruh. This was the funniest thing. This was hilarious. And I was a little worried for Richard. I was like, do you know what's going to come to you? All right, you're back.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we should move on, but the teenager inside of me is just like, So the good thing is, during the entire podcast, other than that one moment, it was really good, man. I think it was a really good intro to you.
Thank you.
If no one's really heard of you before, it's a really good, overview of the stuff that you carry. And we have a few timestamps here. Are you ready to go along them? Are you ready?
Yes,
my
I
friend?
am. I am. Let's have a peer inside. The timestamps I tried to pick were the ones that. Yes.
Here we go. Number 1, the loss of God, something easy, simple, and digestible.
This also looks back into you. The God is dead. What festivals will we have to create to justify our own sin? These are the festivals. These are the celebrations. Instagram, Facebook. These are the festivals and celebrations that we have to tell ourselves we're amazing, we're awesome, we can do whatever we want because mummy and daddy, God, goddess are not around anymore. But it's guilt laden. It's extremely guilty. And without that reverence for something higher than, it sounds silly even saying the word reverence. It's so out of date. But if we don't have reverence for something higher, there's only us. What does that create? Self-loathing. This is a Dostoevsky point as well. But if I hate me, I have to hate you because you're also me. I am piece of shit. You must be piece of shit too. So
Got him. Is everything okay over there, Richie? I think you're lagging pretty hard, man. You are lagging, my friend.
Yes, I may have to move into another room. Can you hear me okay right now as I'm speaking?
I can hear you, but you're replying really late.
Okay.
Can you hear me
Give
now?
me 1 second.
Hello? Wait. No, you're fine. You're fine. Hello. Oh, shit. Yo, yeah, mama. Congratulations to Richard. Not for what you think, but making it on trigonometry. I'm going to give a quick backstory here. This is a podcast that's really quite popular within this sort of alternative intellectual circle, and they became quite famous 2020. Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear? See me? And ever since they became super popular, I've always said that Richie should definitely make an appearance here. And then, is it working?
Hello.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm sorry. I've moved to a place where the signal should be a little stronger.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes, perfect now. Now that I'm out of the closet, all's good. Oh, sorry about that, folks. I tried setting a part of this place that I'm staying in where the signal was just abominable.
Yeah, internet's been choppy here as well, man. So anyways, do you remember what you said in this clip just now, or should I play it again?
Oh, it was the loss of God clip, I think.
Yes.
And that was a weird thing to talk about because obviously I'm an atheist, so yeah, it was a really, really strange thing to talk about. Just tell me what you want. What are you signaling at me? What? Yeah, we'll do that then. You'll be fine. No one's going to die if they see you in the background. I've got a girlfriend. That'll break the fucking internet. Yesterday I was gay. Now I've got a girlfriend and she wants to walk behind me.
Now that's news to me too, Richie.
Yeah,
We're going to talk about this.
Let's talk about God. Let's stay away from the girlfriend. Yes. So thank you. Yeah, it was weird talking about it as an atheist, but that's what I see as being one of the big problems. And when we got into it, they said they're atheists as well. But if for the people who watch the interview, they still say grace when they sit to eat, which I thought was interesting. I personally wouldn't do that. I think it would be a bit weird if me and you sat and said grace. We should try it sometime.
You know what I would do? I would probably approach it just a bit more hood and comedically, but still have the core message there. Because the thing is, it's too formal and it's just a cut of rhythm, what grace is.
Right.
You know, like everybody's all like chill and, you know, you're like kind of friends or family or whatever. Then you go into this really, really formal moment where it's really silent and like you're all holding hands all of a sudden, you know? Like I'd probably just be like, yo, thanks for the fucking food. Isn't it awesome that we can do this right now? You know what I mean? Like shit like that.
Ratchet grace delivered by Pierre. So
totally.
Hood grace.
Dude, I mean, if you just approached it a little more casually and say what you're thankful for and what's cool, like, you know, then it would be a little more appropriate. And I think a lot more people would actually do it too. Yes.
Yeah. I think it's really hard because from a psychological point of view, I'm always like, whatever we show appreciation for is psychologically healthy. This is known. Like if you show gratitude for something, it's known to be psychologically healthy. You literally appreciate it more. The thing that would have been invisible before is now visible again. And then the acknowledgement of a higher spiritual force, not necessarily to anything to do with eating, but the fact that you eat 3 times a day, if you say or more, if you say grace 3 times a day, you're acknowledging that higher being. I think it would keep us all a bit saner and a bit more grounded and a bit more humble, which seems to be good to me. But like I say, yeah, I could only really do it your way, slightly comedic, slightly ratchet.
I mean, you know what's funny though? It's already made its resurgence as like gratitude journals and like shit like that. I mean, that is literal reverence and that's grace. Like you just write down what you're grateful for. I mean, it doesn't have to be particularly right before you eat, but it's the same thing. It just rebranded with little hipster book cover or whatever.
It is the same thing. And it's it sounds terribly trite and simplistic to say it. But that one thing, if there's more gratitude, if you simply feel more gratitude, whatever the dimension of life you're talking about, it seems to assist. It seems to make things a little bit better, easier, more free flowing. And I think for me, I can access like a flow state faster if I start with gratitude first.
But it's like kind of lame though.
It is. Many things are super lame, super uncool. And yeah, they are kind of, well, virtue's lame. It's for nerds. Honor is lame. That's for nerds. But if we don't have it, well, we have this shitty world that we've got now.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I like what you said here. And the thing is like, how do you approach this situation? Okay, for example, you can approach the situation through organized religion, again, or you do it in this new age way. Is the new age way a better alternative, or would you prefer that, or how would you go about it?
Obviously, I'm very, very cynical about the new age, but I don't know that the new age has necessarily done anything worse. I don't even know how you scale it. I don't know how you quantify pain and suffering than any other classic Abrahamic religion would have done. So, and I don't. Maybe the boundaries are a bit fallacious. Like we go, oh, that's new age. Well, not me. I'm an Orthodox Jew from a family of Orthodox Jews, or I'm a devout Catholic or Eastern Orthodox or whatever. I don't involve that new age as a load of pish. Well, how is it intrinsically ideologically different? There's that which we can say to a degree we know to be true through the five senses, or that which can be assessed through a scientific method. And then there's a bit of like you draw a house, a simple house, and then there's a bit of scope for interpretation, a bit of blur around the house. And the blur is that which we don't know, the mystery. What's the real intrinsic difference between the new age and the older religious ideas? I'm not sure that there's a clear boundary.
The thing is, I've been thinking about this, and I can't tell if the written direct boundaries of organized religion is a benefit or a consequence as opposed to the new age stuff. Because the new age stuff isn't written in stone, which means that anybody can morph that shit like really clearly in any way that they want, while organized religion has a bit more structure, and obviously people can bend that too, but just not as easily. And I'm not sure what's the better route here. You know what I mean?
I had a thought before when I was in the shower. I don't know why I was thinking about this. Maybe I was thinking about doing the tentacle croissant. All religions point to mystery, but we should look at the mystery and not the religions themselves.
Yeah.
So if you look at the religion, the dogma, that which is written in the rules, they only point to the mystery. They're not the mystery itself. It's easier to look at the rules. It's quite hard. It's not hard. It's mysterious. So it's complicated. How do you know? So people will say to you, well, what does it mean to look at the mystery? And I'll be like, well, I know what that is, but I can't tell you what it is. It's like saying, look at what is not. Or you see a picture on a piece of paper and say, don't look at the picture, look at the white page. It's fun. It's you end up saying things that sound weird and like you're trying to be deeper than you really are.
Well, okay, let's make it a bit more grounded here. What's better? When you wish to this invisible man with your hands clasped together before bed and you say a thingamabobber to give you whatever you want, or you film a 10-second TikTok using a sound that other people say when they use this sound, they got $1,000 check in the mail and they got married twice to the love of their life.
You said which is better?
Yeah.
Shakespeare wrote in Hamlet deriding somebody who tried to pray, but they were not praying sincerely. He said, words without thoughts seldom to heaven go. So if you're praying for the sake of praying with no intent, it's useless. So if your TikTok is done with intent, real intent, magical intent, yes, it will be more powerful than the prayer. If the prayer is done with intent and the TikTok is done with zero intent or just a shallow need for narcissistic supply, then the prayer would, it's whatever is done with intent is the key.
I guess better not terms of utility, what would work, but just conceptually, what do you think is more like acceptable or along the lines of that? What's more ridiculous, maybe?
TikTok is definitely more ridiculous. Prayer I can do without electricity. And after the Russian cyber attack, I can still pray, but I can't TikTok.
Because the thing is, the more and more TikTok that I scroll, the more, because I'm lurking in the shadows right now. I'm a cultural ninja at the moment. Like I'm completely not posting anything, but I'm ingesting a lot just because I like to keep my finger on the pulse. The younger generations coming up are probably the most religious younger generation in terms of behavior in a long time that I've seen. Like they act very religiously more than others, I think. And me growing up as like a millennial in my teenage years, this is the last thing we would do is behave religiously. We didn't, the new age woo thing wasn't a thing. People didn't really talk about their organized Christianness, their Muslimness, their Buddhismness. Now it's like new age, everything crystal that, use this sound for this, law of attraction that, you are a heathen, you are a blasphemer, you don't believe in this, you have to believe in this. It's very much more common, I think, with younger generations now.
Yes, it does seem to be. There is one thing that tracks between Gen X, my generation, and millennials, your generation, is nihilism.
Yeah.
So the nihilistic view where there is what is central is nothingness. There's nothing there. It can be positive, it can be negative, whatever. It's a nothingness. And you're right, this new generation up and coming is essentially religious, like behaviorally they're religious. They don't talk religion too much, but they are behaviorally religious. Just pontificating on the spur of the moment, it could be an indication of an exhausted narrative. Like they see the older generations above them who are just floundering like fish out of water, gasping for air. And they think, fuck, there's nothing to move towards. That would be me in 10 years or 20 years time. I don't want to be like that. Can I get an answer? Or we just have a thirst for mystery, and because it's not been around for long enough, the young ones coming up are like, let's put the mystery back in.
That's a good way to look at it, because they are in a mysteryless world for sure, with the amount of information out there about absolutely everything. So it actually makes a lot of sense to compensate for a heavily, I don't know, pseudo-literate world to start developing a really, really abstract version of mystery.
Yes. And I suppose, well, now that you've said it, you reminded me, I had a dream about this the other night. I was dreaming that I was like floating above a terrain and mapping the terrain, and there were still sea monsters there, and I saw them. I was like floating near enough the sea to see these huge Leviathan sea monsters like the old maps would have. And of course, when I woke up, I was still in that vivid dream mode, and I thought I still lived in that reality where there's huge fucking sea monsters and boats just couldn't go there, and sometimes they get swallowed and so on, and it would be in the news, like another boat lost this week to sea monster. And then I slowly came around and like, no, you don't live in that world anymore. But our ancestors did. The world was uncharted. It's quite horrible to live in a totally charted world. There's nothing to discover.
You know, now that you say that, you tell me certain things about your dreams they're really, I don't know, mythological, I think.
Yeah.
I don't.
I only tell you the good ones.
Yeah. I don't get mythological dreams, like barely at all.
Right.
Which this could actually represent what we're talking about now. Because I don't live, as much as I am like an artist and I like to create weird shit and stuff like this, like I never really got into fantasy games, for example. I can't really fully get into, people are going to kill me for this, like Lord of the Rings, you know, stuff like this. It's the suspension of disbelief is too far for me to fully get immersed in. Walking Dead, however, has an element of fantasy that's really, really rooted somewhere. There's still there's not so much of a gap of disbelief in that situation. And I'm thinking, well, maybe as a product of this upcoming, you know, younger-ish generation here, or maybe how I was brought up, or maybe I just didn't really look into this stuff when I was younger. This whole like monster, when I look at like World of Warcraft, and there's like a lot of these mythological fantasy things, it just I've really tried to fully get into it, but for some reason it doesn't really click.
The only thing I can recommend, and really I shouldn't be recommending a curative here. You should just be left alone. Like if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But maybe try Dune, because Dune bridged the world of sci-fi dystopia and epic fantasy.
I mean, just aesthetically, it looks fucking great already. Like that's all I have to say.
Oh, the new movie is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning, and I quite liked. People hate the David Lynch movie, but I quite liked it. I think it encapsulated some of the horror elements from the books. But this is the book itself is a trip. It's a fucking head trip. Like Paul Atreides goes on a psychedelic messianic mission, and he transcends time. He literally transcends time and space in order to fulfill a karmic debt. The other books that come after, the books written by his son, I read them all, but there's something really special in that first book by Frank Herbert, and I'm not going to push it on you, be like, oh, you've got to read it, you'll love it. You might think it's a load of shit, but it's a pretty special book. It's a pretty special one.
Yeah,
it could be worth a go.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I remember having a discussion and someone said that science fiction is basically modern day fantasy. Like the technology is the magic that allows weird things to happen, you know?
Yes. In sci-fi, typically in the William Gibson sort of cyberpunk tradition, the other thing that would appeal to you is there aren't naive heroes. Like in Lord of the Rings, you have like
that's a big thing. It's the archetypes are so clear cut, where a lot of science fiction or like cyberpunkish stuff, there's a more of a grounded, a dirtier, gray, muddy morality to it.
You have gritty, cynical anti-heroes. Lord of the Rings has gritty, cynical anti-heroes, of course. Like one of the major heroes is gritty and cynical, and then transcends that. So does Gandalf. I can't remember the main king's name. Sorry, Lord of the Rings fans. But I think the ambiguity of sci-fi would probably interest you a lot more. And it's a bit cheesy, the fantasy, but like there's a real hero or heroine, and she's really just good. And you're like, oh, fuck you. You're beautiful and you're good and you can wield a battle axe. Fuck you.
Yeah, and I think Harry Potter started switching into that more muddier area later on as well.
Well,
when it got darker.
she did a good job with that, considering it's a children's book. The moral ambiguity in the later books is pretty skillfully handled.
Dude, we're hopping around topics like crazy, but about J.K. Rowling, did you hear what happened to her?
Has she been pilloried again for saying simple biological truths?
Dude, she didn't get invited to the Harry Potter reunion because of the canceling before.
Good. Why should she be? Why should she be that
more?
Bitch? That vicious, evil, fascist. I mean, she's clearly evil. Clearly. Always has been.
Ridiculous. That's a whole other subject here, but I guess to somewhat try to pull it back, like, what is Gen Z's version of that? Millennials had Harry Potter, Gen X. I don't know. What was the thing? Was there a thing?
I'm not tuned in enough for. It probably would have been a TV show rather than a book.
Yeah. And Gen Z, in terms of like mythology, is probably superhero movies, right? Like that would probably be the closest thing.
Marvel, yeah.
Something along the lines of that.
You're gonna get. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Otherwise, like anything that involves anything that is on the fantasy science fiction realm, something that requires a mythological belief system, isn't really necessarily there. Maybe that's why they're just coming up with shit on the spot almost.
Yeah, and as you know, I'm making this up as I go along, as I do with most things. But as I hear you talk, it's not a counterpoint. I would add to that by saying these are children. Children are fantasy prone, and they live in a world without boundaries. So maybe we all would have let our fantasies leak into the real world, but in previous generations, we would have been told by adults, you can't do that, and now they're not.
You know, this is, I wanted to bring this up. Got it when I was washing my hands. I was thinking about the idea of role play, not sexually, but if you want to talk about that, we can later. But
please,
for now, like I remember reading that thing about safetyism and how kids just haven't been able to play as much, and perhaps the lack of imagination and play leaked out later in their teenage years, which is why you're hearing the bunch of crazy fucking identity things from Gen Z, right? And that's a hypothesis of why they're just coming up with like crazy things, because they haven't exactly had an imaginative childhood where they were allowed to role play and play.
Yes. Plus, they're just not being told to shut the fuck up. Like I was told to shut the fuck up. Shut your fucking mouth. Why? Because you're a kid. And it was too much. It was tyrannical in the private school system in the UK. It was way too much. But also, I learned that I could be wrong. And I was told very clearly that the adults around me might know more than me. I've worked in the British education system with these kids, and I know that they're not being told that. They're never told, shut the fuck up and do as you're told. They're told, like, really, is that your perspective? That's equally valid. No, no, it isn't. It's not equally valid.
Or at least just go like, okay, that's your imagination.
Yeah.
And this is how real life kind of works too. You know, like that separation, that line of separation. So the hypothesis goes that they weren't exactly able to explore this imaginative territory as a kid, and then never actually told where that dividing line is later on as well.
Well, and that dividing line is what we mean when we say boundaries. It's exactly that. I remember when I was still teaching self-defense, and it was combatives. It was raw, street-focused self-defense. And I stopped doing it full-time in 2012. But even in the years preceding that, 2008, 2012, I was getting young guys coming to me and being like, can I do this in a fight? And I go, no. Why? It's not ergonomically efficient for you to do a spinning back kick in a barroom brawl. Why not? Because think about it. We can run a simulation. We can run a drill. It's not going to work. I want to. I hear that. I hear you say you fucking want to, mate, but you're not going to. You're going to end up on your ass, and then somebody's going to stamp on your face. Well, I'm going to go to a teacher who tells me I can. And I'm like, what is this? It's not a fucking all-you-can-eat buffet. The shit you can do in a fight, and the shit you just can't, like, physically you can't do it. And I heard that it grew in those 4 years. God knows what happened after 2012, but it was a growing sort of sense of like, I want this to work. Well, it won't. Well, I want it to anyway. And if you won't tell me what I want to hear, I'll recruit somebody else until they tell me what I want to hear. And I was like, go ahead. You'll still get your fucking head stamped on, you silly cunt.
Yeah. And the ironic part is that these people generally won't end up in a situation where they can try it to fail. So they can still find somebody to tell them that it will work, and then they won't get in a situation where it won't.
Listen, the worst that those guys would have done, the only damage they would have done to anything is their mum's fucking wardrobe. As they were practicing their fucking moves in her bedroom that they still live in. But take that archetype of the guy who's still living at home, stuck inside of his head, living in a fantasy. We know that the economic patterns within the West, America and the UK, certainly, probably Canada, Australia, so on, is people are staying in their mum's house longer and longer and longer. And they aren't getting out into the world. They're learning to drive later. They're learning to leave home later. They're opening bank accounts later. All of it is later. So we end up in a longer and a longer adolescence.
Yeah.
Added to that, the university system became industrialized, turned into a business. So they lowered their standards whilst people were staying at home longer and longer. I mean, just those two factors that we've got.
Sure.
It's not hard to see how you generate a generation of complete fucking entitled morons.
Yeah. And as an young entitled moron myself, like I can kind of see why they're ending up like this. Cause looking into my own life before, and even bits of it now, this is when I was washing my hands. I was like, what I'll do is like, I'll lose myself in particular worlds that are crafted to a point where I imagine myself in it. And sometimes it leaks into my daily life. It doesn't affect how I treat other people, but in the back of my subconscious, I'm in a cyberpunk film. I'm in a half zombie apocalypse sort of a thing. And looking to quickly add to your point there, I moved out of the house and paid rent for the first time at 24 in a foreign country. That's quite late. And you don't think so? But like, I think it's quite late.
Not from what I know of your generation. No, I think 28 is the norm for people.
Really? Okay.
For people in your generation, based on what I know, and to move to a foreign country, it's certainly later than when I did it, but it's not awful. It's like 24 is not shameful. Sure. 30, 31, 30. I know people who are in their 30s who have never left home. They still live with their parents.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. And what I can say is that only until now did I really feel like my adolescence, there's a obvious line there. There's still bits of me in my life that I'm still behaving very teenagerly, but I can see where that line starts and ends at this stage at 28, where even my young adulthood at 20-ish something, it's still actually, looking back, it felt more teenager like. I still felt and acted 16-ish. It just, maybe I could drive and do these things, but mentally I definitely was frozen at a stage of adolescence until like the last year or two, to be honest.
Yeah. Yes. And I can. Well, if kids are given the, I always think people do what they think is best to them. So if they're given the option to do that, they'll take it. But if the option of leaving isn't palatable, see, I wanted to leave. I wanted to drive. I wanted to leave because I wanted to have sex in privacy without my mum just walking into the room whilst I was getting a blowjob. I didn't, I was like, okay. And really, it sounds so dumb, but to a young 20-year-old, that was a driving factor for me getting out and getting my own flat. It was around sex mainly. And why did I want to drive? So I could go to clubs, or I could go to a different job and make more money, and then, get with more girls. It was a driver. What we're seeing now is, like, biologically, hormonally, testosterone levels are lower. We didn't have streaming 4K pornography on smartphones that we carried in our pockets. God, maybe that's killing the fucking drive to leave. I don't know.
Well, it's porn and just just media, like streaming media in general. And now that I'm gaming so much more, it's gotten me thinking about the concept of it and kind of reflecting on, what do these games give me that my real life isn't exactly providing, or more like, what's the contrast between the two? And I think a lot of younger generations, my generation around this time, because of the choice of being able to be basically coddled and just have your amenities set for you, it doesn't, not only that, but the situation that we all live in now doesn't require us to take on a useful role in any way. And even at a situation where I did actually go through the route of building my own whatever, I have all this fucking free time that's gotten me reflecting on the situation, leading into playing or watching things like Walking Dead or playing cyberpunk stuff, because it simulates a useful role where an identity is a byproduct of that useful role.
The way that you just framed it is so depressing.
But I've been not in a good state of mind necessarily. But I think this is a reflection of a lot of people these days. It's not me, man. It's like a big percentage of people.
I feel useful. Or like, you play a game and you're like, well, at least I'm wanted in this village made of pixels that nobody lives in.
Yeah. I mean, the slightly good news is that you can play online, so you have other people with you in that simulated pixel reality.
We're friends, aren't we? Yeah, we're friends. Let's kill the zombies that aren't real. Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about it, what else can we do with the environment being the way that it is?
You
know
will
what I
all
mean?
be conscripted into my army when the benevolent dictatorship happens. You will all be given roles.
Sure, if it comes, then it comes. But at the moment, it's not yet. So
it's not yet. I want you to design the uniforms. You'll be the Hugo Boss of that generation.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're gonna have some 80s glam rock uniforms for this army. Why do your soldiers have makeup on, bro?
Warrior armor is pretty fucking badass from all cultures, man. Like,
it is.
If we can just all dress up like that, regularly, I'd be down.
We look cool as fuck.
Yeah,
we look cool as fuck. It's coming in the New Republic.
Yeah.
No, I hear you. Like you said, what else can we do?
It's no coincidence that the gaming industry is more than the music and movie industry combined. It brings in more money. This is, and I was really thinking, like, why is it necessarily other than the other reasons, like, brain hacking, serotonin, whatever. It brings, depending on whatever game you want. Girls usually play Harvest Moon, where you're farming and taking care of animals in your own farm. guys are playing Call of Duty being a useful fucking soldier. I'm playing zombie apocalypse shit. It's really providing people in a simulated environment where they can get a useful identity there. Because otherwise, what's the next option? Like you work at some fucking startup marketing agency and then you're looking at a screen all day, or like you, I don't know, make coffee for people. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's not enough, you know?
No, it isn't. I'm just thinking like, what did I do? I think some of the decisions I make in my life are unbelievably stupid, but I made a smart decision when I was like 21, 22. I had the foresight to see that things were going to move online, and I got my online business in early, and I made sure that like I had that way of making money online. And I also worked in an office. I worked in 3 offices, and I was like, I'm never going to fucking work in an office ever again. Fuck this. This isn't life. These lights are fucked up. The environment, it smells weird. Everybody looks unhealthy as fuck. They're miserable. And I was like, okay, if you never want to work in an office again, you're going to have to make some big moves. And I think the thing I'm saying is like, if I can relate it back to myself, why did I not end up in that cycle? It's because I fought like hell not to end up in that cycle, because I saw something there that I really didn't like. I was like, and it scared me. I was really, really terrified of it.
Sure. And that's the outside incentive. And a lot of people either don't have that anymore or they don't need to have that. And that's a big thing too.
Well, based on this conversation, and I know people listening will think we talked about this before, but I just got something new, which is, so if Richard was 12 again and he had the fucking device in his pocket with the porn and the TikTok, maybe Richard's will would have just been sucked out of his arsehole the way all these kids do.
This shit literally was at a stage where it was, let's just say, it had a bigger pull than outside life only in the last 15 years maximum.
15, let's say, yeah.
15 maximum. Before that, going out was way more fun. The skateboarding was better than the fucking, I don't know, not Pong, but like some shitty video game. You know, it's like a lot of them were just, they weren't enticing enough. They're whatever. The films,
and the house was boring. The house was daytime TV, adults talking, and books.
Right.
And the adults are always talking about furniture and carpets. And I'd be like, oh, let me get the fuck out of here.
Exactly. Well, you know, you can call up your friends and fucking try to kickflip some 5-stair and then get hurt, because that's way better than watching fucking Maury or Springer or whatever the hell. You know. So there's like a huge change in the I don't know, the content that's given out on this thing now, because now it's so good to really simulate like deeper human needs now.
Yes. No, you're right. It's successful. If it sucked, we wouldn't do it. Which is a bit like, I used to say that about cocaine, which is like, you wouldn't get it, like myself and talking to other cocaine addicts, you wouldn't get addicted to it if it didn't work. If it just made your fucking nose bleed, you'd stop, because you'd be like, this is dumb. But it's because it actually works. That's why it's addictive. And we have to have that conversation. Like, it feels good when you're really fucking high. Same thing. Like, I haven't played Call of Duty because I've banned myself from it for 2 years now. But I imagine if I play the latest game, I'm going to spend the first hour of the game in a state of dopamine orgasm orgy at how wonderful the graphics are, how amazing, because it's a multi-fucking billion-dollar industry. They have the best experts in the world massaging that world, changing the way that cop looks, changing the way the sound on the weapon you're using, just to give the end user more satisfaction and pleasure.
What's interesting is that it evolved from dopamine orgies, like that's like mobile gaming, you know, like Candy Crush. That's like hyper analyzed and engineered to just spill out your brain juices. Like, the thing is, what I see now with certain games, especially the ones that I'm into, they don't give you brain orgies. What they do is give you a cycle of simulated usefulness. those are the ones that I'm stuck on, like the survival ones. Like the ones that are longer burns, like that aren't just attacking you. Like you have to chop down the tree, and it takes like 10 minutes, maybe not 10, but like a bit longer. Than you're constructing. You're getting the resources. Sometimes I play with a friend, and then we talk about what do you want to build here, and then we can prevent the zombies from coming in. It's like there's a teamwork. You couldn't really do that in real life. Oh, what are you going to build like a dollhouse with your friends, like your homie in real life? Like it's not going to work, you know.
I'll come to yours and we'll build a dollhouse and we'll wait to see how long it is before someone calls the police.
And then Constantine comes in. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell. What, you're building a doll's house? Fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly.
What you just said, though, it scared me a bit because, call me a conspiracy theorist, that has to be by design. So they'll have done their research. They have millions of dollars to throw at this. And they'll be like, how do we... All they want to do is capture the most minds for the longest. And I think certainly with Call of Duty, the model shifted to get them playing online and get them spending to sort of gamble so they get some perks.
Yeah.
So they're trying to keep you playing as long as they can. And they've decided, or not decided, they've discovered that you'll play longer and with more passion, not with a bigger dopamine release, but with consistency of action and sort of long, slow burn, longer term orientated goals, which that frightens me more in a way.
Yes, because these are innate human desires that are they're supposed to be used for productivity.
So we're so useless and so dopamine stimulated through the apps like TikTok and Instagram that we go online to so here's the question. What do we play games to escape? We're playing games to escape the dopamine simulation, and we're playing games to escape our own lingering sense of uselessness.
Yes, because what are the choices in real life? You can build that giant business. It's not made for everyone, but you can try. You might just get a job, and that's your hunt and feed yourself cycle or whatever. It's like, but don't you want to be the one that like makes that run to get those can of beans for your camp so the entire camp doesn't die, and then meanwhile you're the one protecting? Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not like that happened before, but it's a lot more tangible than doing some useless job that doesn't feel like you're providing anything.
No, it would have happened before. It would have, like, you know, there's probably historians in the chat. They'll be like, there was a time, there was a battle, and somebody ran to get the ammo. Yeah. And everybody else had to stay, and you went and did an ammo run, or there'll be stories, or you went to get rat. Absolutely. This will have happened. So it's sort of taking you back in history to points of things that we were evolved to. And maybe we are evolved to like small but visceral, risky tasks. Get the can of beans. It's going to take from the morning to the afternoon. Don't die. And you'll be like, you get home and you're relieved, and the day went really quickly because you're in a hyper alert state because there's zombies everywhere, and you did the thing, and everybody's grateful to you because you helped them live an extra day. I see. It's not a mystery to me that that's appealing. Not at all. Because everything else becomes more and more symbolic. And in a way, with like things with my business, they've become too symbolic. I'm too removed, too alienated to the effect I have.
Exactly. This is something that we both like literally landed on around the same time. Both of our jobs, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's too symbolic. It's just like I make this digital square that my face says some sounds, and then like people are like yes, and then they like give a digital version of like a piece of paper that gives you value, and then yes, and then like you do it again, and then like, you know, it's like, what the fuck am I getting here? Like, what am I giving? What am I getting? I don't know what I'm working towards. It's not good. While
and we both got finessed by YouTube. We were both getting pimped by YouTube. We realized when we're on that street corner for the 7th time, like, why am I doing this shit?
Why are we shivering? But like in a game, even though it's a game, you see the logs that you're lugging towards your camp. You know, like you chop and the things fly and whatever. It's like, at least there's something else here, you know?
Yes. I think that was the other thing with the office job that I had. The last office job that I had was doing administration work for Sainsbury's, which is a supermarket chain here in the UK. And it was we were called the fulfillment team, and we put codes into a computer and then do 5 things to the code and then hit return, and it would get processed. And then you just did that all day. And I was like, I don't know what this is. I have no idea. People say to me, what are you doing? I'll be like, I work for Sainsbury's. Oh, you stack the shelves? No, I do fulfillment. I put codes into a machine.
Right. Yeah. Like, what does that mean?
Well, for sure, I spent, of the 6 months, I spent 2 months not working because I met 2 doormen there. And we just used to talk about fighting all the time and martial arts and goals. And I did nothing and nobody found out for 2 months.
But there's still something there. Say if something did happen being a doorman, even though half of it was just hanging out, which is awesome too.
Yeah.
But when something happens in that environment, there's still a such more tangible situation. Maybe that's why you want to go back to it. And maybe that's why you still look back and it's a good thing for you because it provides a tangible sense of value, like usefulness there.
Yes, there's something, there's a correlation between cocaine and it probably stimulates the same part of the brain, immediacy of action with risk, where you're at the cutting edge of a scenario that is unfolding, not over there, not symbolically, not politically, it's not trending on Twitter. This fucker is going to punch that fucker in the face unless you stop it now. And if you make good decisions, there'll be no violence and everybody will be happy. If you make bad decisions, you'll get the shit kicked out of you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of,
yeah.
You could call me a psycho or an adrenophile or I'm like, I find that pretty appealing. I find everything else pretty, I wouldn't want to live there all the time because it's too much, but occasionally, yeah, it's.
For every incarnation of a human community and tribe, there has always been people to watch the gates. And that's the role that you were playing. That's a very archaic, timeless role. So, but that says something. It fulfills something that's very necessary and useful there.
Watch the gates. You made me think of the Idris Elba character in the Thor movies where they go up to what's the Valkyrie heaven called?
I don't fucking know, man.
Oh fuck, I can't remember. Whatever Thor's world is called, where Odin lives. Idris Elba is on the gate with a huge double-edged broadsword, like that, being all stoic and massive and godlike. Yeah, it is like that, and there is there's significance there. There's contribution there. There's risk, and there's decision making. What your decisions make matter. And when I was working in fulfillment for Sainsbury's, I didn't do my job for 2 months, and nobody fucking knew. Nobody knew because we were in a pool of people doing this work and nobody was monitoring me. They just didn't care. That's how fucking insignificant I was.
Yeah. And, you know, real quick, though, I saw a comment that was like, this is kind of depressing on your podcast, or like, this is like black pill. And I'm like, if that's black pill, this podcast, like, we snort lines of black pill, dude. Like,
yeah, people who thought my trigonometry interview was black pill, they know nothing.
No,
they should
man.
come to see the new Pierre XO black pill.
Bro, I'm in the shadows, literally. I am the black pill, bro. You know? So,
but
yeah,
you seem to be doing better. Are you doing better?
Dude, it's not like an up or a down necessarily. I'm still just kind of like floating. I don't know. I can't say that I'm too. I don't know, man. I don't really on weed. I guess that's the best way.
Maybe you're just getting into the pace in this dark world. You're like, okay, this is what it is. This is what I'm jogging along here now.
Pretty much, man. But like, maybe I think what's kind of regulating me is not the dopamine rush of video games, but this cycle that I found in specific games. Real specific ones that provide that usefulness that we continuously keep bringing up here. But this is the thing that I'm really, really, I don't know. I've been really circulating on this idea, because in the world now, so many modern jobs like the one you described, or anybody that does anything genuinely, like anybody who even starts a business these days, like, what do you sell? I don't know. I sell this idea of that people can do the thing, and then I tell them the thing, and then they don't do the thing. And sometimes I have a tea, you know, and then it's like, Other people do, like sort papers, but digitally, like data entry. Like what is this? Like, what the fuck are we doing? You know?
Yeah, what are we doing, and how insignificant are we? These are, you're right, and just having this conversation now makes me. It's another piece in the puzzle of why Jordan Peterson took off the way he did. 2016. It was an antidote to this. It was an antidote to all this. It was, find your purpose, pick up the heaviest burden you can, find meaning in life, and I guess I don't know whether he cynically directed it to Gen Z, but it's really what a lot of Gen Z would have needed to hear.
And I'm the person that definitely took those words literally too and did it. Like I did what I thought that I wanted at the time, that allowed the responsibility there. And in my room, I still keep my shit clean too. Like clean my room too. I do all these things. But I think what's missing here is the application in modernity.
Yeah.
The postmodern environment is a really, really uncharted, strange one. It's no longer like if you can provide for a family and start one and that's your thing, that's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
Other than that, like, what's that burden of responsibility? Like, what can we have to simulate? Which goes back into that idea of role playing. I think in the end, the result of the environment enables role playing to be the main source of being.
Yes. Wow. So only falseness can bring us to anything approximating an authentic experience.
I mean, is art falseness in a way? Yes.
Well, let me change my word. Artifice. Art.
Yeah.
Art
Artifice. That's better.
Theater and artifice and symbols. Yeah, I'm going to have to go in about 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
I just realized. So I don't know if you want to take questions from people or give them a good torturing. What were you going to say about? You had something else to say about artifice then.
You look uneasy at the moment. Are we going too far?
No, not at all. No. It's I don't have any answers for people, and my only answers are unfortunately kind of solipsistic. It's because well, here's a Jordan Peterson point or Jocko Willink point. It's down to the individual. I don't have a collective answer, and I don't want to be the person who says, well, do what I did. I don't have these problems. I don't know. There's something wrong with that, isn't there? Like if I just say to people, just do it the way I did it, you'll be okay. That's a little fucked up, right?
You'd have to like really strip it down to make it universal. Like you'd have to cut out the detailed specifics.
Okay, so that's why I'm uncomfortable, because that weakens it. And okay, full disclosure, you can't save everyone. Yeah. We've never saved everyone. That's a new ideological coordinate. Make everything accessible to everyone, like an app or a device, and save everyone. We've never. That's not nature. That's not like there are people who win and people who lose, and I'm pretty convinced at this stage of my life that there are genetic and biological elements to this. Yeah. And that I can't give you my DNA. Well, I can, but you'd have to swallow it.
Heyo!
Oh!
Any questions in the chat for Richie here about anything, about me? Any questions to me about Richie? What y'all got? That was a strenuous hour, huh, Richard?
Yeah. Wow. Well, yeah. And I'm stuck because it really triggers my codependency. I'm like, I really hate that I can't give people maps for everything. And at a certain point, that's the problem, is like, if you take it from somebody else, you're taking it ideologically. Yeah. And you do just have to, you got to make a choice. And because I didn't get it from anybody, nobody assisted me through it. I was just like, I'm going to fucking do this or I'm going to die trying. And if I only make £1,000 a week, well, I'm only making £1,000 a week, and that's it. At least I would have done something. At least I would have got somewhere. You know what it is? I don't want to sound like a fucking boomer and be like, you just pick yourself up by your own bootstraps kind of thing. Just work harder.
Yeah. Honestly, you know what I point down to that I can't take the solution? Start a family. Like that's literally the end conclusion that I can come up with that would solve a lot of issues, but I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. Just real quick. What good would it do? What good would it do to start a family?
It would bring an innate sense of community, a purpose, a drive to work and provide for. It would bring intimacy and love and then this challenge, because it's fucking challenging. It's not going to be easy. Yeah. So that's like that constant cycle of all these things that I think are innate in human beings.
Okay. That's a good answer.
But you have to be obviously a good parent and heavily involved. Like that goes without saying. Like,
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Start a family. A little cold. Why did you start a family? My life felt purposeless. And I wanted a purpose. That's why.
It wouldn't be like that. You know what I mean? But like,
yeah,
sort of, but not. I mean, when it happens too. You know, it's just like. But I think that's how humans are made. You know, like we need this type of thing. Otherwise, humans wouldn't be humans.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. I dig it. Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. It's sort of, I haven't figured this out yet. It's a strongly gray area for me. And I think it's because as I'm transitioning 2020 to 2021, there's certain things that I've been doing up until now that I'm not going to do anymore. And so I don't just want to spew dogma and bullshit that I've thought about before. Yeah. And I'm a bit like, maybe for every human being, there has to be some spark of individual will that is, I can't sell it to you. I can't give you a course for it. I can't do hypnosis for it. If you want it, you'll make it happen. And then you'll take what Pierre says or I say or whatever, whoever says it, and you'll run with it. But there's a lot of people who, quite honestly, I don't think have that spark. And they're fucked. They're just fucked. If you won't fight for it because you don't have that spark, nobody can give it to you. You are fucked.
Yeah, and you know that's a majority of people these days. And I don't know, it's gonna get further black, but I don't even know if I want to keep going this route.
Just fuck it, do it.
Because the thing is, even on the other end, like if you did develop a spark for something, there's going to be an end to that too. You know, it's like that. You know what I mean? Like there's still going to be a question of what is this all for in the end. You know?
Yeah, 100%. So we started out with the clip from Trigonometry of talking about God and then losing God and the effect of that. And the effect is what's in your future? Eventually death. How do you, are we really going to run a culture that has no narrative around death? No way of processing death. What's death? The end. Party's over. Oh, I'm a bit anxious and depressed now. I don't know. Take a Xanax, wank, drink. We that's it. There's nothing, and that's another problem with taking God away. Is I think it forces the population into taking God away. We willingly got rid of God. It forces the population into a drive to stay in an adolescent mode of being, because outside of adolescence is adulthood. Then you are trapped in time. You're not Peter Pan anymore, and then you are aging until death.
Yes. Yeah. And I can totally see if I simulate a belief in a God, that's my way up. And everything I'm doing is for that. So I know where I'm going. And then that's why this is all done. And I make this stuff for that reason. And that fulfills a lot of the void as well.
Yes.
So become an ultra conservative Christian is the answer to all of our woes, Richard.
I heard Egyptian magical hermetic practice in what you said. I don't think I could do the conservative Christian thing.
Watch me do it.
Oh my God, yes. So I'll be the one with the black eye makeup, dressed as an Egyptian high priest and like gold skirts and stuff with big ringlets on, and you show up, no makeup, hair on one side, and a shirt with your wife and kids.
Dude,
like, I found the solution.
I'll probably do that for like a year one time just because I'm bored. I'm running out of identities to try on, dude. Like, ever since I started watching The Walking Dead, I was like, I haven't even gotten into this subculture yet, like Southern Georgian, you know, like rural, you know.
Yeah.
So now
we've never been there.
Yeah, I'm playing the games now, and I'm like, oh, it's not so bad.
Could we do a tentacle question on? All right, so Egyptian priest, Baptist preacher, Egyptian priest, Baptist preacher, week on week, and just to give everybody a fucking nervous breakdown, I just change the narrative every fucking week, but with equal fervor and conviction.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do anything too different from that already. So, as you freeze.
That was the Archons. They froze me up.
All right, we didn't take a question.
But... Was there any good ones, folks? If you have a question, make it one question long and end in a question mark. Scientology, anyone? No, there's just people telling us to do it. They just say do it. Fuck it.
Just do it. Just
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Just
do
be
it.
yeah.
Just be you.
Just
Dude,
be
what if that was
yeah.
the answer? Just be you. Just be you.
Why are you guys thinking so much? Just be you.
I hear that all the time. I think you're an overthinker. I think you're just thinking too much in it. Well, what the fuck am I going to talk about here? You know, it's like, what do you want me to do here? I'm on a talk show, podcast. Like, I have to, dude. It's part of the thing.
Talking is part of what we do. Talking and thinking. Just be you.
Just want to gossip instead? Like, Jesus.
Oh, fuck it. Yeah, I can't.
When did you do this? I didn't know you did this.
I've never practiced archery. Sorry, Mike Clemens. You
never did it.
I did an archery session once in Malaysia to get accepted by a Sufi master with an old Malay bow that hurt really fucked up my thumb, and it took me an hour to hit the fucking target, but we did it.
Oh, this is probably a depressing thing to end off on, but you know.
Shall I read it out?
Yeah.
Even with a belief in God, I struggle with seeing the point of daily life in our structured society, the fact of working, health insurance, etc. I'm constantly asking who decided this was okay. Lol.
Yeah, that's the answer. That's the answer. Lol. Let's see if we got anything else. Why are we always doing things to do other things? It's true. That's true. We just do things. Like, that's it. Just do things.
That's the kind of, if you asked me that while I was on acid, that would keep me stuck for about an hour and a half. I would just be trapped in that question going, why do we do things to do other things? Why don't we just do the first thing? Everything is secondary and tertiary. Everything is the symbolic and the signified. And over and over again, rocking like that. Why is it not immediate? Why is it not immediate?
Just things. Just be you.
Just be yeah.
Just be you. I don't really see with anything else but on the name. See anything?
No. Most of adult life is comprised of maintaining and cleaning things.
Richard, you're gonna hate me when I tell you this. You ready?
Go on.
I got a pet.
What?
It's a robot vacuum.
I was going to make a joke about how it's misogynistic to refer to women that way.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Richard. God damn it. How dare you? In fact, it's not human or a life form at all. It's a robot vacuum.
Oh, fuck, I missed it. You said a robot vacuum cleaner?
Yes.
Same thing.
Really? Did you really get one too?
No, I'm saying that women are the same thing as robot vacuum cleaners.
Richard,
they both move around, make weird noises, and suck.
Hey, Richard.
Yeah. Purity. So for about 10, 12 years on and off, I was doing nightclub security. And that sort of developed into a self-defense business, an online self-defense business. And after about 10 years of doing that, what I noticed with the lads that I was training, they'd be like other martial arts instructors, some soldiers, bodyguards, fighters, again and again. So I created a very imaginative.
Did I skip it?
And because I was always into martial and nightclub security, started
This is
doing
like trying to get to my
nightclub
favorite bit in a
doing,
corner.
have a look about what I wanted to do. I drifted for a bit. I started doing for about 10.
Did I miss it?
And
A really tedious
that sort
porno.
of made me take a little bit of a step back and like little bits. So yeah, butted and hit in the eye.
Oh, here it
glass.
is.
It was a homophobic attack. I was headbutted and hit in the eye with a glass for being gay.
Fucking.
Thought I just end this off on a good note there. Congratulations, Richie.
For being gay. That should be the new t-shirt. For being gay.
That had to be your first merch drop. Just
For being gay.
Just
Happy Christmas. For being gay. I love you for being gay.
dude, isn't it funny how everybody would use gay as a happy thing and they'd be like, everyone have a gay Merry Christmas.
I wish we could go back because then I'd just be like, yes, I'm gay as fuck. I'm super merry. Have yourself a gay little Christmas.
All right, Richard. Lead us out.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for allowing us to abuse your time and your attention with our nonsense. We're very grateful.
Bro, what do people get out of these
I don't know.
What do we just make them fucking depressed and just
every week
nihilistic?
there's more and more views and more followers.
Just like we're making people fucking hopeless and then slightly offended. Like that's how we go about these podcasts, man.
People like it. They like abuse. People are masochists. That's why they're here. They're so fucking bored. Oh shit.
Have fun, my friend, with whatever it is.
Ladies and gents, we will speak to you soon. Be kind. Love one another.